Okay guys, this is a video I've wanted to make for a long time, but I've been trying to figure out how to politically correctly do the video. So I'm just going to give it a shot. This is the first director's cut edition, just kind of no holds barred, and we'll see. And there may be a couple versions of this that come out, but what I want to talk about is being a good student, and specifically like a good student in yoga, but we could also apply this in other things. So one of the main things that we see a lot of as teachers is students that travel or come from different studios or different places, and it doesn't always have to come from outside the community, but there's an essence that I guess there's a way that we define like what a good student is, and all of this is like to my interpretation or like jamming out like our interpretation of it. So one thing is like coming in and really honoring the yoga practice and honoring the teacher that's willing to teach at that moment, is just, you know, barring injury or something like psychotic that's going to hurt you. If you come into the room, like you're not only paying money for their services, but you've like basically entered in a nonverbal contract that you're there to take practice from that teacher. If you get into a situation again where you feel like it's dangerous and something that they're offering doesn't fit you, that's one thing. Then I'm 100% in support of you doing something different, sitting that one out. More of the issue in this particular instance is you doing your own thing is not helpful for anybody, especially when you're in the front of the room, because it's very distracting, especially for new students. And so if a teacher is willing to come and teach and offer whatever they have to offer in whatever capacity, then you honor the yoga practice in such a respectful way and you honor the teacher. Now, if you don't honor the teacher and what they're teaching, you shouldn't be in the class. It doesn't mean if you don't honor them, you just don't listen to them and do your own thing. That's something totally different. So not only is it disrespectful, I think, personally, me being an instructor, if I'm in that experience where people are just like off kind of doing their own flow, if you will, it's just super distracting. It's distracting me as a teacher, so my energy now is to like have to like conduct myself in a way that I'm worried about what you're doing, even though I'm asking people to do something else. And the people in the room are now looking at you, because ultimately all you really want is attention. You want people to see you and see how amazing you are at floating to handstand when nobody asked you to do it, and just things like that. So I think it's kind of an epidemic, and it shows up a little bit in this setting, but maybe the epidemic is a little bit more about like a narcissistic way of being, and really just getting into this idea of like, do you see me? And I have to post every second on social media. It's a really blurry line that gets kind of dangerous, because then it's just really all about you. And I wonder how much of it is really, you know, at some point even about the yoga practice. You know, it's just become about you and the showmanship and how amazing you are and what great outfit you have. Like all these things is like just you and you being seen and getting attention, and everybody thinking you're amazing for your ability to float into a handstand. And then by the time we get to the actual practice, you don't have any energy left to do what we're actually asking you to do and what we've planned and thought out and spent time creating to work to a certain place. You're gassed out because you've been doing all your tricks. Yeah. So it's food for thought. It's something that it happens so much. And honestly, some of the worst students that I see are teachers. They're teachers that think they know better than what's going on, and they still feel the need to plug in their own preferences into something that's being offered. If you're coming to a community class, part of it is to be in community and to work together and do, say it's a flow class, to flow together and to work together in a led, you know, setting. So yeah, I mean, yoga teachers, I'm definitely calling to you, and just other students. There's a place where you're constantly a student. And if you're coming to a class to learn and to practice with somebody, be a student. There's a sense that you're surrendering to what they're offering. And if you don't like what they're offering, then leave, or just don't come in the first place. If you're using this as your own place to express your practice and like make it so pretty and beautiful so everybody thinks you're amazing, it's really not the setting. The setting is to be in community and to do what's being offered. All about modifications, using blocks, taking care of yourself, working through injury, working through surgeries, working through pregnancies. All those things are great. But there's a fine line between making an adjustment to the practice so you can continue moving with the class best you can, and you full on like doing something different so that you can be seen. Or for whatever reason, I'm not really sure why, single leg chaturangas and handstands and all these things that like, they're not really, part of the practice unless it's specifically being called or asked for. Then the technique should be offered why you were doing it. And in my eyes, my opinion is that it should have some purpose. So it's just food for thought, but it's definitely something that's been on my mind for a long time. We see it all the time, from all aspects and all angles, all sides of just, our work really is to just be good students, and not just to be a good student of yoga. Like we are doing this practice to be a good student of yoga so that we could be a good student of life, so that we could like constantly be humble and like honor the things and the places that we see and the things that we get to do, and that we're just good students all around, that we listen to our children, that we listen to the elders, that we listen to people that have different opinions, all those things, that we're just a good student of life. And if we're constantly drawing in, especially in the yoga, like we're bringing all of our own personal preferences and ways that we do things, you're missing it. That's not yoga. You're not bringing what you like and all of your preferences to the practice. The practice is pretty ironclad. It's pretty solid. It's been developed. Our job is to do the work within the framework of the yoga practice, not to construct the yoga practice so it fits us better. And that's, again, it's fully opinion. It's fully observation. It's just what I've seen and what I've experienced, and something that I'd love to see people just being better students in all aspects, including me. That's why we continue to practice every day and study and do these things, is because we're students of this game. We're students of this practice, and we have to keep that mindset. So there's that. Okay, good luck. Later.